Hi everyone, this one is about youth orchestras and what to do with youth orchestras during this time. And of course, this could apply to other times as well. Doesn't necessarily have to be for this particular situation with COVID-19. But friends, colleagues who are working all over the country and all over the world are trying to come up with various ideas and concepts to engage the youth orchestras. I've told my youth orchestras during this time, it's a very difficult time because one of the reasons, the main reason that we come together and play in the youth orchestra is because we want to be there, part of the team in real time, just practicing and working together, putting the music together and figuring things out. Unfortunately, that specific thing is kind of hard to do at this particular time, but so many other things help and benefit us in our playing if we were to do some of these projects or some of these assignments. It's tough, but some of these things really do help, and unfortunately, most youth orchestras, most public school orchestras don't have the time during the rehearsal to address some of these things. So possibly a good time to really take on some of these things. One thing that comes to mind is improvising. Improvising has been part of classical music for a long time and a couple of hundred years ago. And most classical musicians don't really think about improvising. And so I thought it'd be great for some of my youth orchestra kids to improvise. So it could be small ideas. You could assign small little melodies or motifs, ideas, or you could ask them and encourage them to come up with their own melody and improvise for a minute or 2 or 3 minutes and see what they could come up with. It could be frustrating to start, but I think it's very important for the mind as well to think of ways that you're not used to. It's not just reading music, it's actually coming up with things in real time and figuring things out. So this is kind of a fun project to do. I think it's good for kids to take on this and also challenge themselves. And if they have friends or family that are close that they could still see, hopefully parents, maybe siblings, they could possibly interact with them and play with them uh, and improvise with them. Some theory stuff, it's very important. This is something we don't get to in youth orchestras or even public school. Probably I don't teach, but from what I've heard from some of my friends, it's really tough to address some of those things. So theory is a good thing to do, and that's actually possibly an easier approach to theory when it's just you send assignments, you get them back. It might work well. These are just ideas, and I'm happy to get more ideas from you and hopefully share with people who are listening. And another aspect is research and history, listening assignments. Listen to this or that piece. Tell me what you've heard, to say something about the composer. History is very important. Again, another thing, as one of my colleagues recently mentioned, many of the kids know the name of the piece or might know the name of the piece, but many of them don't even know who the composer is. And of course, it's very important to address these things, but they forget. And having them do this, the research, it might be beneficial, and they might actually get something out of it. That's another thing. And of course, listening and writing about it, as I mentioned, it's very important and another thing to do. Otherwise, just what I've done with my youth orchestras is continuing with the repertoire, giving them specific assignments of measures to work on, scales to play for me, and that's all we could really do. And hoping that many of the kids have audio or video capabilities and they're able to record themselves and send it to us. I know from what I've heard, there are some who are struggling and don't have those the ability to do some of those things, and it's unfortunate, and hopefully that will change in the future as well. If you have ideas, if you are thinking about something, if you're trying something already that's really working, please share with me. I would love to share with my youth orchestras and just help each other to make it the best possible experience for the kids, and also help each other so we could give them projects and assignments and get them excited about music in new ways that they've never experienced before. So hope everything goes back to the way it was, so we could get together and play together and enjoy orchestral music the way we've done for so long. But again, as I mentioned before, this is a good way to think about new ways of figuring things out and learning music. So when we come together, we're even better musicians. We're even better at listening to each other and even better at understanding what the music is about, from theory to music history to just understanding where we're listening and who we're listening to, improvising and just being well-rounded and excited musicians. Thank you so much for listening. Hope to do one more or at least a couple more of these and share more ideas from colleagues and friends and you who are practicing and listening to these videos. Thank you so much.